So far, we've covered how you need to develop not just a surface level understanding, but a deep understanding of your target audience, the problem you're solving, the value proposition, and strategic differentiation. Going to your narrowest set of relevant users, understanding the root problem you're solving, being able to articulate your value proposition, and understanding your differentiation versus the full field of competition are all key parts of identifying which features will actually move the needle. In this lesson, we'll walk through how to develop a deep understanding of your channel strategy. We define channel strategy as the approach you take to reach and convert new users. It includes everything from target user selection to acquisition channel selection to product build to support these channels. Most PMs can identify which channel drives most of their growth. There are 4 major categories of acquisition channels that products use to drive growth: viral, content, paid, and sales. Viral acquisition has a 3-step basic pattern. First, a new user signs up, drawn in by a friend's invite. Then, a certain percentage of these new users invite their friends. Finally, a certain percentage of those invitees opt to sign up. This then starts the process anew, effectively creating a loop. A representative company here would be Slack. Content acquisition also has a 3-step basic pattern. First, new users sign up to the product. This then fuels content creation, either because the users are creating content or because the fresh revenue enables the company, or other content generators like partners or suppliers, to create content. Then the content is distributed via channels like Google or social media. This content attracts new site visitors and signups, which then powers more content generation, effectively creating a loop. A representative company here would be Pinterest. Paid acquisition again has a 3-step basic pattern. First, new users sign up, drawn in by some sort of paid advertisement. Some of these users become paying customers, creating revenue for the company. This revenue is then reinvested into ads. These ads result in new users, repeating the process anew in a loop. A representative company here would be Supercell, creator of the mobile game Clash Royale. Finally, the sales process can also be described in a basic 3-step pattern. First, new users and customers sign up for the product. The revenue created from this enables the company to add more sales reps. These sales reps then work on converting more leads. When these leads convert, they become new users, repeating the steps of the process and creating a loop. This sales loop is usually worked in conjunction with another channel that generates leads, like in this case of HubSpot, where their content marketing generates followers that can be reached out to. Additionally, most PMs have a surface-level understanding of how to optimize the channel. They identify the key conversion variables that drive the channel's performance and make incremental improvements to the initiatives. For example, consider a product like Slack. Their main acquisition channel is through virality, or word of mouth. A key conversion variable in word of mouth is the percentage of users who invite others. The incremental approach to improving their word-of-mouth channel performance would be to optimize the referral flow, trying to squeeze out incremental improvements in the percentage invite rate. Or consider another example like HubSpot. HubSpot's main acquisition source is their content marketing. A key conversion variable in content marketing is content views, driven by their search engine ranking. Incremental optimizations would be things like improving page loading speed or ensuring mobile friendliness in order to rank slightly higher on the search engine. However, as helpful as these are, they are local optimizations. They definitely yield measurable incremental improvements, but can cause you to miss larger opportunities for long-term growth. Instead, PMs that deeply understand acquisition strategy will explore both incremental opportunities and more fundamental ways to improve their product channel fit. Product channel fit is how you fundamentally mold your product to take advantage of your best performing acquisition channels. For example, TripAdvisor knew that most of its growth came from user-generated content. People would ask trip planning related questions to Google, discover a TripAdvisor forum post with answers to it, and sometimes sign up to TripAdvisor as a result. TripAdvisor molded its product development around this insight. It encouraged user-generated content by awarding points for contributions, even recognizing top contributors with custom profile badges. In order to improve your product channel fit, there are some common product patterns to follow for each broad channel category. We include these on the Reforge Product Strategy Map template, so you can think about the product channel fit improvements you might be able to make for your own product. For virality-based products, you need to improve the network effects of your product and ensure fast time to value. This is because you have to incentivize invites and help people quickly get to the point where they would want to invite somebody. For example, mobile games like Candy Crush are a great example of this. Candy Crush is a mobile puzzle game where you only have a certain amount of attempts, or lives, to clear a level. When you run out of lives, you have to wait several hours before being able to try again. The alternative to waiting is to ask your in-game friends for additional lives, which enables you to instantly try again. Candy Crush is designed for viral product channel fit. It creates quick time to value by hooking people into the excitement of clearing a level. And the lives mechanic actively incentivizes inviting others because you have to wait less time for a level clear attempt with a larger network. For content-based products, you generally want to make content creation as easy as possible. This is because generated content powers your acquisition, so easier content creation translates into more acquisition fuel. For example, if you are a company like Pinterest, you likely acquire a significant amount of users through SEO of your content. Users search for ideas around home improvement, art, or other creative subjects and discover a Pinterest search as one of their top results. When they click through to Pinterest, some of them end up converting. The long-term key behind your growth then is to keep user content creation going. Pinterest has done this by making content creation as easy as possible, creating multiple ways to pin images from any device. On Chrome desktop, for example, the Pinterest browser extension allows you to instantly pin a page you've landed on. On iOS, the Pinterest app allows you to send pages directly to your Pinterest as a pin. For paid acquisition-based products, you have to create extremely fast time to value, because people who come from paid channels typically have very low user intent. For example, if you were the creator of Clash Royale, you know that you have to fight for user attention. Mobile gaming is a highly crowded market, meaning keeping users retained is already a challenge. When you factor in low user intent from people who come from paid ads, you realize you have to somehow deeply engage the user within minutes of initial download and sign-up. They did this by creating a highly streamlined onboarding flow. Instead of trying to teach every game mechanic from the start, they stuck to teaching only the two core mechanics, placing units on the map and upgrading or editing your deck. They configured the rest of the tutorial to be highly open-ended, allowing the users to organically discover game mechanics against their AI. They also intentionally designed the game to take an average maximum of 3 minutes, so that users could experience a complete game within minutes of starting. For sales-based products, you have to build a product that balances needs across multiple personas. Companies that grow primarily via sales tend to be enterprise products and have to distinguish between the varying user levels as a result. For example, buyer versus end user. For example, Workday is an enterprise finance/HR software company that primarily grows through its enterprise sales teams. Since they have to get initial buy-in of the software, their software focuses heavily on satisfying buyer requirements around reporting and compliance. However, in order to keep companies retained, they also have to make the product experience manageable for the end user, making customizable workflows a close secondary product priority. In summary, having a deep understanding of your acquisition strategy requires that you think about how to fundamentally improve your product channel fit, instead of making incremental improvements. There are 4 major types of acquisition channels, and there is a common product pattern unique to each that improves product channel fit. In the next lesson, you'll develop a deep understanding of your monetization strategy.